So you have,
Sir,
yeah, Gautam.
are you recording, sir?
Yeah, I started just now.
Okay.
Just now I started. Right. So conditional state constructs nothing but if condition, if statements, case expressions. Case expressions are nothing but switch cases, loops. You have three different loops, same like other programming languages. You have do while, and for loop. All three are supported here, and continue statement. You don't have break supported directly. There is a different way of breaking the loops. You have that, but there is a different way of different keyword is used here to break the loops. Return is also there, but a return is used with the named blocks, because these are anonymous blocks. Anonymous blocks cannot return any value to its caller because there is no way of calling them. You write and you execute. Return is also there, but return is used inside named blocks, especially in functions. Right. So time being, we'll be looking at them, if condition, and also yesterday we wrote a program using what? If. So the things to be right remembered here are, so unlike programming languages, you don't have any flower braces here. If condition, then, and it must end with what? End if. That is the end of if condition. You must write end if, right? And if you want to write multiple else parts, here is in the other programming language it is as else, but here it is else if. Should be very careful here. It is else if. It is a one word. It's not two words. else if, then the final condition which you want to write, that is else. ELSE, right? So if condition, then followed by your statements, and then you have what? ELS if for writing multiple else cases, right? And else followed by what? Condition, then, and the final is what? Else. This is the one which is more confusing when it compared to what? Programming. Else if. It is not else if, it is ELS if, right? Make sure that you have all these things. But yesterday itself we have tried one example for employees. Did you try the assignment which I have given you? Selecting with option 1, deleting option 2, updating option 3. Did you do it? In the notes or in the system? Okay, very good. And all other day before yesterday's current bill, all major, minor. What is the other one I have told you? Menu of hotel greater than 3 numbers. How about those? Practice. Practice only gives you what? Syntaxes. If you want to strong in syntaxes, how many times you write the same syntax, that much you'll have hand free on writing the syntaxes. No space. Okay. So this is what if your condition, then, and if you observe this here, I was using yesterday I used what? Between operator, allowed. Any operator is allowed. Okay. So this is a mobile charger, I guess. You can unplug it. Anyone kept it? Right. So this is any operator you can use. Between and in operator you cannot use. The operators whichever you are using here actually technically should return what? True false values. Then they can be used. So that means you can use logical operators like and or you can use relational operators, greater than, lesser than, between, in, and all, right? So test all the other operators, and this is the final else. Make sure that your if is terminated with what? And if followed by semicolon. Okay, and then the rest of the program. This is my main block end. So this is how you have a if condition, right? So the next is case statements, right? So case statements are, you have two types of case statements. One is called as case expression, the other one is called as case statement. So unlike programming languages, you have switch cases only one. You have only one use of switch cases. But in PLSQL, you have case. You can write switch cases in two ways. One we call as case expression. The other one we call as case statement. Case statement very much equal to what? Switch cases of programming. Case expression is little different, right? So I'll show you some examples. So before that, actually, I would like to show you something about row type variable. See here, what is this? V underscore emp underscore record. What is this?
Values of employee.
No. See that query where it is used. What is this here? According to this PLSQL program, it said.
Values of the employee.
See that variable declaration. It's a row type variable. It's a row type variable which is created on what table? Retired employees table. Assuming this table is there. Now, if you observe this insert query, something interesting. Insert into this table values, and here it is passing what? Row type variable. He is not inserting column by column. Why? Because this variable stores what? One row of which table? It is going to store entire row of this table. So, but he is selecting this rows from what? The employees table. He selected some rows from employees table and he stored into what? This variable. And he, while inserting, he is interested inserting a row, entire row at once. He is not giving what? Values followed by what? Different columns. So he is inserting directly a row type variable. That is possible. So he is selecting the records from employees table, and all that he's selecting one row from employees table. That row is copied into what? This variable, and using this variable he is inserting the data into what? Other tables, where the structure of the two tables must be same. Employees table structure and what? This retired employees table structure must be same. Then you know to insert what? Values by values. Directly you can insert using your row type variable. This is fine. So insert into table values. One row you want to insert, but you know that insert query, right? Insert into table followed by what? Values, all the columns you have to write. Not needed if you have row type variable. Okay. So this actually I want to show you. Anyway, that's the different story. Now there are few things about if condition. So we are writing if condition, and let's say one important point here. Okay. Let me quickly create a small block. Here I am going to have a variable type age number. Okay. I'm not writing any PLSQL code. I'm not writing any queries here. I'm writing if age is less than 18. I'll say as what? Minor. Okay. What is that? Else I'll say what? Why should I write again age greater than? Can't I write major here? One condition I'm checking, the other condition obviously becomes what? Major. End if, and then end of the program, is it? This is the beginning. Now say me what happens in this program. I did not give a. What is the problem with this program? I did not give any age. It's declared, but it does not have any value assigned to it. But I am writing a condition on this age. I did not assign any value to age, but I am writing a condition on this age. Right? So what happens here now? Right? So if you don't assign any values to variables, what happens in a database? null value. So if you don't assign any value, null value is there for this age variable. Now whenever I am using that null value to compare, it leads always to what? False. Null dot something, null not less than any operator use while you compare, it leads to what? False. It is going to print what? Major. It is going to print. So because I have a null value, so in null values in your if you don't assign any, first point here is if you don't assign any value to your to a variable, it becomes what? Null. Oh, I did not do what? Set server output. This you have to do every time when you start a new session. Okay. See here it is printing a major. Why it is printing major? Because this null dot comparing, it always leads to what? False. Because it is giving you false, it is printing what? Major. This is one thing you should very careful here, because if you miss out some values, if you miss out some assignments to a variables, always in PLSQL it will be null, and if you are trying to write some condition on that null, it leads to what? False. So here is the example, right? Null values in if condition. So when you have null values in if condition, it leads to what? False. The same example actually I have copied. Fine. Again, if then else, that is what we have tried. This is ELS if, and you must have what? End. And whatever the conditions you are writing, they must written either true or false. So if it is written false or null, it always goes to what? The condition is written false or null, it always goes to else block, right? That is what we have seen, right? Now case expression. So as I told you, there are two types of case here. One is called as case expression, the other one is called as case statement. The case statement is very much equal to switch cases of your programming. Now what is this case expression? This actually in Java latest versions, this is given actually. Java 10 they have given this feature. So a case expression returns a value. It is going to do what? It is going to return a value. Switch cases, case expression always is going to do what? It is going to return a value based on what? One or more alternates. Syntax is same. You'll have what? Case 1, case 2, case 3 like this. But this case expression is going to return a value. Whether case statement is not going to return a value. Right? So there is a difference. It's going to return a value, right? To return the value, case expression uses what? A selector, right? So anyway, that is simple. We'll see that example. Here is the syntax starts with a keyword called as what? Case, and ends with what? End keyword. This is a little confusing because you have a begin and end there. Here also you have what? End. So you should be very careful here. Right, then followed by what? Your case expression. So it is when your first condition matches, what it is going to return. When second condition matches, what it is going to return. When third condition matches, what it is going to return. Final case, there we call as what? Default. Here again we write it as what? Else only. We don't write default here, we write it as what? Else. In the programming we call it as what? Default case. Here the default case will be what? Else. So almost similar to what? If condition, right? So then condition, only when is the new addition, condition, then finally what? Else. There you have what? If condition, then here you have what? When condition, then. If condition, then is the if statement, and here you have what? When condition, then, but it is placed inside what? A case. It is placed inside a case. Okay, fine. Now we'll write so this is case expression. As I told you, case expression must return what? A value. Okay, so a searched case expression has no selector. It's when classes contain such condition that yields a what? Boolean. So it says what? So this case will not have any selector, means you are not going to write. If you compare this with switch cases in programming you write what? Switch followed by what? Some expression, then followed by your cases. But here it says what? This case does not have any expression followed by. So whichever the condition is successful here, for that condition this result is returned, right? So is the example here you can understand here. So you can look at this case V grade, right? You have what? The V grade is a variable which is storing what? Some value. V grade is a variable which is storing some value. If this V grade has what? A, B, C, D, what it is going to return? If that V grade variable has A, it is going to return what? Excellent. This is the meaning of returning a value. It is not executing any statements. It is returning a string called as what? Excellent. Right? When this V grade is having what? B, it is going to return what? Very good. And where are these return values stored? These return values are stored inside what? A variable called as appraisal. Most of the time we don't use this kind of syntax, but this is called as what? Case expression. As I told you, case expression returns a value, and that returned value stored into this variable. Right? Here, how which one is returned here? This is the variable. If this variable has a, then which case, which when class executes? This one executes, and this when class returns what? Excellent. And that excellent is stored into what? This appraisal variable. This is case expression, which compulsory returns what? A variable. So on the other hand, this is also how we can write case. Here we are writing a variable. If you don't write this variable, here you can observe the condition is verified here. If when V grade is equal to, it is almost similar to what if condition. If this is matching, return this. If this is matching, return this. Otherwise, return this. But this must return a value. This is called as what? Case expression. Right? So on the other hand, case statement, what it is going to do, it is not going to return any value. It is not going to return any value. So there is one more called as what? Case statement. So it is what? You see here, the difference is when this 108 is matching, it is going to fetch the data from what? It is going to run some queries. But there is no returning value, and the return value is not stored anywhere in any variable. This is very much equal to what? Switch cases of programming language. In the programming language we use it, right? So this is what we have. We'll first see what is this one. Can we have any example here for case statements?
Percentage then grade.
The same is given there. Any other example? Traffic. Okay, green, red you want to say. Okay, we'll do it. So how much I need? I will write in a notepad. She says we'll go for the traffic signals. That's fine. Declare color. Alright. Is of type what? Varchar 2. And I'm going to take one value in input, right? What is that? Ampersand COLOR. I'm putting inside a single quotations. And if this works, what is the meaning of this? Uppercase, right? Your choice. If you don't want to convert, you can. This is the same example, right? So what is that? Begin. And I need to store result, right? So I'm going to store status is equal to what? Again, this is also varchar 2. So I'm going to start what? Case color. I'm not writing any comparison here, right? What is it? What is the next? When color is the one which is storing a value, right? There already there is a value stored. Already there is a value stored, right? Then if that value is red, then it should return a value. So what is that value it is going to return? Quotations stop. And this return value should be stored into what? Into a variable. We'll do that, right? So this is what you have. Okay, it is going to return a value, and when one more, when color is green, then go. Any other? Yellow. What is that purpose? If the color is yellow, then ready to go. Okay, I'm not. There is no else part. We have else part this.
No, exactly.
So these are the three signals, and this case should end with what? End. End only. No, end case. End case is for different. So this is the case. I'm going to store some value into this color. If this color is matching to red, this is the output. Return value. If this is matching to green, this is the output. If it is yellow, this is the output. But this stop, go, ready to go, this must be stored into what? One variable. Where is that variable? Status. I have declared a variable called as what? Status. So what I'm going to do? Status colon equal to. So this is called as case expression. This is your case end. Okay. So this case is returning a value and it is stored into what? A status. And I am printing this status after this case. How to print? DBMS status equal to 5 status. Is there any other? Is there any error? Looks good to me. So these are the two variables. One is reading the input from keyboard, and it is stored into what? COLOR. If color, if the value inside the color is red, it should give me what? Stop. Otherwise, go and ready to go. Now let's try this. So asking for color, I'm giving what? Red. Says what? Error. Assignment operator is wrong. It should be what? Colon equal to. Assignment operator is colon equal to. RED. Says one more error. What is the error this time? Status. When expecting one of the following. Encountered a symbol status when expecting one of the following. Here it is showing declaration of a variable. Is semicolon missing? Yes. It's not terminated. You should be able to identify them. Right? It clearly says there is error in this because I am expecting something in the place of status. Something like these symbols. I am expecting, but I don't get those. It says like that. Okay. These things happens. You have to practice. Again, one more. When it says what? After when it says what, you should not terminate. Is it? Yeah. For each when and then it should not terminate. There is one more error. See here, it clearly says there is syntax. You are terminating when then. You should not do it. Alright? So that is there. Should not terminate them. Okay? Only the termination is there. Yeah. End. End followed by what? Termination. Whatever the when clauses you write, there is no termination for this when classes. There is also one more syntax error. 3 syntax errors I got. I think I successfully fixed all 3. Alright, now this time again one more error. What is this? This is wrong. Varchar 2 says what? Can anyone fix this now? You can read the error and you can fix it. It says what? You missed out giving a size to varchar 2. It's asking please give a size between 1 to 32767. Alright. So there is a maximum size you can give for what? Varchar. So I am giving it as time being 20. For this also I am giving it as what? 20. So the same thing. No need to worry about the errors. There is a solution. It is clearly saying what is the error in your code. Read it, fix it. That is how you can improve on. Now let's see. This time I am not going to give red because I am getting all red warnings. Green, it is fine. Green says you can go now. Because 3 times I gave red, 3 times it gave me what? Errors. So I don't want to give it. Now this time I'll give red. It said what? Status is equal to. You stop now. I give yellow. Again, case sensitive. Case sensitive means what? If I give RED capital, will it match to red? No. Because here I wrote data is case sensitive already, I told you. Here I wrote what? R capital ED in small. But when I'm giving all capitals, it's not matching to what? That red. Data is case sensitive. I've entered all capital and it's not matching to what? My when class. None of the when class because it is like this. So that is where you have to use what? Those functions. If the user gives in any format, red small, red capital, one small, you convert it into what? Upper or lower, your required format. Then you don't have any problem. So whichever the way the user gives input, in any case, you convert them into what? One final format, and then you can write your this when clauses with that final format. If I convert it to lowercase, here I am going to write what? All lowercase when clauses. Should be very careful, right? Data is case sensitive. If I give any other colors apart from these 3, it won't print any output, right? So for that you can have what? Else. You say what? This is not the color which you use for what? Traffic something. Please select correct color something. Please input correct color something like that. You can write that else part. Fine. So that is what we have. This is case expression because it is returning the values. Fine. So this when clauses you should not terminate. You should have what? End termination for case, and this is my main block termination. 2 ends. This end is for main block. This end is for what? Case expression termination. Right. So this is case expression. The other hand, you have what? Case statement. The difference is case statement does not return any values. It does not return any values. Right. If I don't take, okay, before we move on to case statement, if I don't take this one, color here, in the place of case, I don't take color. So what happens?
Don't.
It won't work. So where should I take that color? When color equal to. You can write this way also. But this is tedious. Every time you have to write what? Color equal to, color equal to. This becomes a little tedious, right? So best option is you can put what? Color here. Okay. Okay. So this is what case expression. Almost 90% the same syntax except the return values. You don't have this status is equal to. That becomes what? Case statement. No return values, it becomes what? Case statement, right? So there is actually, if you are having multiple if else conditions like this, For this, you have to write if else only. If you are instead of multiple if else, yesterday I gave you one example, menu. For such kind of things, you do what? Printing the menu and all, you do what? You take the help of switch cases. 1, 2, 3, 4, add, multiplication and all, right? For which if else is not correct. What is correct? Switch cases are correct. So how that switch statement, case statement looks like, right? So the differences between case expression and case statement. So it is almost similar to what? It's almost similar to if then else. Sometimes that is not correct. If then else, it takes some time. It takes a lot of time to execute what? All else conditions and all. So that can be replaced with what? Case statement. So first observation is case statement will end with what? End case. But case expression has only end semicolon. Here you will have what? End case. Rest of all almost same. Now I am going to write a simple procedure, anonymous block for case statement. So the same options I'm going to take. I gave you this. I don't know how many of you did it. So I'm going to take A as number of, let's say, size 10. I don't need single quotations for this. I think you did this. B as number, and also I'm going to take this. We did, I guess, right?
Yes, sir.
Option ABC. So it's we did with what? If else. We did the same with what? If else. But I'm doing the same with what? Switch case. This is much faster than what? If else. So it does not return any value. If option. If option. Okay. When the option is 1, what I'm going to do? When option is 1, I'm going to write what? Addition of two numbers. What are the two numbers? What are the two numbers? Okay. Let me directly print it. It is not going to return what? Simple programs, right? So if the option is 2, just copy paste now. If the option is 2, it is not going to return anything. I'm going to do what? A minus B. If option is 3 and what? 4. This is what? A into B. This is A divided by B. If wrong option is given. If wrong option is given, what is that final? How would I capture that final default case? Else is the default case. Correct. Done. Now what is the other change needed here? What is the other change needed here? Is this fine?
In the case.
End case. It should terminate with end case, not end. You should be very careful. Now I'm removing this. I don't need this status now. So when 1, add numbers. When 2, what is the difference between if else and this one? Is there a difference? Both are same. Both gives the same output almost. But is there a difference between writing like this and that way? If else, and this is also almost similar program. Means comes up with same output. Where did I do that? The right if else add and all. I did not do. May not be here. No, not this. What is this? If I can write the same in if else, right? So what is the difference? Is the same thing? Is there a difference? Which is faster?
This is fast.
This is faster. Why this is faster?
We need not always mention that it's like that.
Very basic question. This is you are all from CSC.
We'll go for all.
All the else conditions. How if condition is matching, then executes that. If not matching, it goes to what? Next else, immediate else. Not matching, next it goes to what? Next else. It is going through what? All the else conditions, then it is going to execute. But it is not like that. If the option is 4, it directly jumps to what? 4. It directly jumps to 4. It does not check what? 1, 2, 3. But if it is if else, it checks 1, not 1, then go for what? 2, not 2, then go for what? 3, not 2, not 3, then go for what? 4. It takes more time. Here it directly control jumps to this. Alright, is there any other things which we are missing? Alright, I guess we are good to go. Now let's it does not return any value. It should end with what? End case. So I gave you yesterday one assignment, right? Addition, deletion means insertion, deletion. Which one is better? If you have written yesterday with if option is equal to 1, then do what? If option is equal. Now which is better? Is the switch case is better or if is better? Switch case is better. Not the if condition, right? Change it. And the menu also. Menu also which is better? Switch case is better for menu, not if conditions. Let's try to see are there any syntax errors. That is always the first goal. And I recommend always, I prefer to get what? So many errors. I prefer to get more errors so that I can learn more subject. That is a basic fundamental. A is 10, B is 20, option is 3, error. I like actually getting the errors. But it says expecting something when it is option. In the place of option, it is expecting something. I'm expecting something and I got something in the place of option. Hmm?
Sir, option is a predefined keyword.
Right, that is correct answer. Yesterday only we got this error says option is a predefined keyword. That was we yesterday also we got the same thing and I forgot. Thanks for reminding me, Lavanya. Let's try this semicolon and then slash. I don't 2, 3, right? Addition is 1. You got it. A plus B equal to 5. I missed out equal. Option is a predefined keyword. Yesterday also we got the same error. Indentation is very important. If you arrange the code like this, then it is easy for you to what? Read. It's not that you have to arrange the code like this. You can write the code in single line. It works. You can write the entire these 10 lines. You can write in what? Single line. It works. But that is not recommended. If you write like this, while you get the errors also, it is clear. It clearly says what? There is error at line 5. Line 4, column 5. What is line 4, column 5? You can see here. Line 4, column 5, it says what? This is not the correct. It's very neat. Errors also it displays what? Very clearly. It is easy for you to fix the errors. So always follow what? Indentation. Okay? It's very good practice. These are all simple, but most of the 3 into 5, option 3, A into B is equal to what? 15. If I give a wrong option, it displays me what? Wrong option. So this is case statement. You should be able to identify which is case expression and which is case statement. Same question again. If I don't give OPT here, then how would I write it? Everywhere you have to write what? OPT is equal to 1, OPT is equal to 2. It almost similar to what if not recommended. This is the simplest syntax you have. If you don't give OPT, it's not compulsory to give OPT here. If you don't give there, here you need to write what? OPT is equal to 1, OPT is equal to 2, OPT is equal to 3 like this. Right? Now you convert all the programs yesterday's into what? Switch cases. Because if else takes more time, you should know where to use if else. Because here technically there is no must condition check. If else is used for non if else is based on what? Boolean values kind of thing. Here it is non-boolean values. Fine. So these are the two. One is case statement. This is does not return any value. I'm not storing this into what? Any variable. If I store this into a variable, it becomes what? Case expression. Right? So this is the most used in the programming than case expression. But sometimes you can use this also. Returns a value, stores and prints. That does not returning a value, directly it is printing. Now you do the same now. 1 for adding, 2 for what? Deletion, 3 for updation like this. 4 for selection. 4 queries you are going to write. Okay. So whether you are going to add an employee, whether you want to delete employee, whether you want to update employee, whether you want to select the employee. 4 different use cases you are going to perform using what? Case. Okay. So this is the second control statement, which is switch. These are all very basic stuff. All your focus should be on what? Syntaxes. Only the syntaxes are different. You almost know the concepts in other programming languages. C or somewhere you see the same constructs there also, but the syntax is the very important, right? So next, loops, iterative statements. We call them as iterative. Means the same statement is going to be executed multiple times. Same like programming language. Here also you have what? 3 loops: do while, and for loop. But syntaxes are different. Only the thing is they have a different syntax here. Rest, the 3 loops are supported. I hope you know the importance of what iterative statements or loops. They are used to execute the same statements multiple times. If you need them in programming, many like more often we use them. So I can say without these control statements, you don't write any programming. In every programming, you need these control statements. If statement, switch, and 3 loops. They are very often used. So they are called as, we don't call them as do while. So the names are here. One is called as what? Basic loop. It is very much equal to what? Do while in the programming. The other one is what? While loop. The last one is for loop. You can write all of them same. But we don't call here as while loop. We don't call as do while. We call it as what? Basic loop. Right? So it is very much equal to do while in programming. So what is the do while loop? How it works? What is the do while loop? How it works? Do statements and condition check. So condition will be checked at the end, not at the beginning. So it guarantees that this program executes at least once. Once the statements are executed, then the condition gets checked. If the condition fails, your loop is terminated. If the condition is successful, loop continues. Right. So the syntax for this loop is, so almost all the loops have the same syntax. Starts with a keyword called as what? Loop. Ends with a keyword called as end loop. Almost all the loops. This is common for every loop. Loop and end loop. Alright. Now I'm going to write a loop. I'm not declaring any variables. I'm directly writing inside begin and then what? End. Right. Now loop and end loop, I'm writing a statement. dbms underscore. Okay. Have any questions? You too. Switch cases and all, you have idea? Okay. Now what is the output of this? Can anyone say me? Just 4 lines of code.
Okay. Comes executed. Comes executed.
It's an
Repeats.
repeats for how many times? There is no condition. There is no condition check. Right? So this is infinite loop. This becomes an infinite loop because I don't have a condition where this loop can be stopped. I need to have a way to stop this loop. If you don't have that condition to stop this loop, it becomes what? Infinite loop. Okay. So let's copy this onto this. It's not actually. Is it the error? Syntax error? Stop actually. Not coming out. Oh, the server is closed. So that it becomes an infinite loop, obviously. Fine. So it becomes an infinite loop. So when I type the same here, it's not printing, but it is hang there. Is this some syntax error?
So session and
Session, and I need to set the server output on, but the still it's not printing because it is an infinite loop. Now I need to start again my session. Now we have to have a way to break this, right? So first I need to start what? Set server output. So we should be very careful writing these loops. If you don't have exit condition, they always go into what? Infinite loops. The previous one, right? Because I don't have any exit condition for this, so it is going into what? Infinite. Now I should have a exit condition always for any loop. Need to have some way. You need to have a mechanism to terminate them. Otherwise, they always go into what? Infinite. So I'm going to write a one condition here. To write this condition, I'm declaring a variable because I just want this loop to be executed for 5 times. I just want this loop to be executed only for 5 times. Okay, so I'm going to take a variable called as some count is of type what? Number and some size. Now same how would I write? And it assign a value to this count. This time starting with what? 0, 1. I want this counter when the counter becomes 5. When the counter becomes 5, I want to terminate this loop. Same how would I write it? Currently the counter value is what? 1. I am having a loop. I want to terminate this when the counter reaches to what? 5. So what should I do?
loop count.
First I need to increment the counter. But how can I increment the counter? Count colon equal to count plus 1. I don't think count plus is here. Compound assignment operators we say. Don't think they are supported in PLSQL. So each time when the loop executes, this counter also gets incremented. This counter also gets incremented. Now my condition is when the counter reaches to what? 5, then I want to terminate it. Condition, how would I write it? Go ahead. Condition, if, okay, count reaches to 5 or greater, that's your choice.
Is equal to 5.
Less than or equal to? Is it less than or equal to 5?
No, because
Is already less than equal, is already less than 5.
yes.
1 is already less than 5. I don't want to terminate now. I want to terminate when it becomes what? When it becomes 5 or more than 5. Anyway, equal to 5 is enough for us. I don't need any greater than for this. Time being. When it becomes 5, and don't forget to terminate right end. If now say me, how would I terminate this? What I'm going to use for terminate? Yes, if when counter reaches to 5, that is correct. But I need to have termination logic, right? There's a keyword called as exit. Correct. But which one will exit here? If condition or loops?
Loop, sir, because we are giving below and if state.
Hmm.
No,
I am writing it inside what?
only
This is very important thing. Will it terminate if or will it terminate loop? Loop. How many times if executes? How many times in general? How many times if always executes once only? If he is not going to repeatedly execute. If he always executes only once, condition matches, execute the statements, come out. Condition does not match, go to else, execute the statements, come out. There is no meaning of exiting what? Because if he's always going to execute only once, then it comes out. Exit is always in the programming. Also, we write these kind of things. We write there what break. Break we write in the programming, right? Here we don't use break. Here we use a exit key. So this exit is not for if. If always is going to exit, only execute for one time only. This whenever this exit is coming, it terminates what? The loop, not the if. We are saying what when the counter reaches to 5, exit the loop, right? So we should be very careful here. It's not nowhere. There is no meaning of exiting if. If always executes only for once, right? Let's see whether there are any errors. It says what? There is one error, and that is I think it says clearly here. What is the problem here? I gave space between them. Right? Let's see any other errors. Now, exit is showing the error when expecting one of the following. Okay, keyword it says the wrong. This is the correct. Oh, if condition is wrong, is it? Very good. What is the if condition? No one is noticing. Hmm. Correct. Syntaxes is the key. If condition, then exit. Count is equal to. Now is error at count plus 1. What is this error? Says it's a pseudo column.
Is some keyword, no?
Correct.
Standard.
Count is a keyword. Count start from its aggregation function. Then what should I do? CNT. Any variable which is not a reserved word. So these things you will come to know when you practice. Is a count is a function, aggregation function. What we call this function as count? There is a name. What type of function it is? Count is what type of function? We have different type of functions, right? What type of functions it is? What type of function count is? There is a name. There is a category. What is it?
Aggregate function.
Aggregate functions. In the aggregate functions, there are different types.
Predefined function.
No, this is predefined only, but which type of predefined? I told you 2 types of functions. Spending only 4 times anyway. Okay. What type of functions? Single row or multi-row? That is my question actually. Count is single row or multi-row? Count is a single row function or a multi-row function?
Multi-row function.
It's a multi-row function. It is going to count all the salaries at a time. Very good. No one is on track. No one is seriously preparing. Waste of time. is printing anyway 4 times. My printing statement should be starts with what actually 0. If it starts with 0, then it could have printed 5 times. There is anyway there's a logic problem. Option is a predefined, count is a predefined. Anyway, that is not our interest. Exit is a keyword which terminates what? Basic loop. Basic loop starts with a keyword called as what? Loop, and it ends with a keyword called as end loop. If you don't write exit condition, it becomes what? Infinite loop. If you don't write exit condition, it becomes infinite loop. And this is how you can write an exit condition with the help of what? With the help of if statement. You can write exit with the help of if statement. By I'm saying what? When this counter reaches to 5, you terminate, and it is going to terminate what? This loop. This loop gets terminated when this counter variable value reaches to 5. So if you don't have this one, this fails. Technically, this can be divided into 3 statements. So this loops: initialization of a variable, then followed by what? Incrementation, and then followed by condition. Any loop, 3 things for terminating your loops, right? Initializing, incrementation or decrementation, and then followed by what? Condition. In programming also we do the same three things for while and do while loops. Fine, if that counter starts with 0, then it could have printed for what? 5 times. That is only not our problem. That is not our interest anyway. Our interest is on syntax. So the syntax starts with a loop, ends with the end loop, and if you don't have this exit condition, it fails. That is simplest way to write this exit condition. Instead of if, it looks like big complex program. Now there is very simplest way to do this, and we'll use that. I'm making my counter as 0. Instead of writing if condition, there is a very simple way to terminate it. A when, so there is a keyword. You can use when again. Exit when. When you want to exit, when counter is equal to 5. You can write like this. Exit when. Instead of if condition, you can use what? Exit when. Here. Exit when counter reaches to 5. I'm putting in a braces, not needed. Same program without if condition. This is simplest syntax we have. So this loop starts. How many times you can guarantee that this loop executes? How many times this loop? Minimum, I'm saying. Minimum this loop, but technically this basic loop executes how many times? Once it is compulsory. Because once it is started executing, then only this condition check comes in. If I write here 1, then it terminates, but at least once it executes. At least one it executes. At least one time it executes, because we have a condition, post condition we don't have a pre-condition, right? So exit when this your counter variable becomes what? 5. If you don't write this, if I don't write this, what happens? I have initialization, I have incrementation, but I don't have exit condition. What happens? It always becomes an infinite loop. Right, so now let's try this exit when keyword is the new one. So this is simplest than if condition. You can, oh, what happened? Why it is terminated? What?
For me also.
You write like this, your terminal is closing.
Yes.
SQL command.
Yes.
For you also it is closing.
Exactly.
Yeah? I don't understand what exactly happening here. HR, copy this. No. Maybe I copied only exit or something like that. It's fine. But set server output on. Maybe I copied only exit or something from the keyboard. When I pasted it is pasting what? Exit. It is terminated. Set server output on. Slash. Now it printed 5 times. So you can see the same. Exit when. This is a basic loop which executes at least once. Syntax is the same. Loop and end loop and exit condition. Remember this. And the counter should also be incremented. If I don't increment the counter, what happens? If I don't increment the counter, what happens? It becomes infinite loop. If I increment the counter and I don't write what? Exit condition, that also become infinite. Because if you don't increment the counter, this value will be always what? 0, and it never matches to what? 5. This always value, counter value will be always what? 0, and it never matches to 5. That also becomes what? Infinite loop. You should be very careful here. You must have what? Both. Your counter value incrementation along with what? Exit condition. Otherwise it becomes what? Infinite loop. We should be very careful writing that. Right? So you must have all three. If I don't increment the counter, you have only exit condition, but this condition never return what? True. Because always counter is equal to what? 0 is equal to 5, 0 is equal to 5, 0 is equal to 5. Never it is going to what? Match. It should return true. This exit condition should return true, then only this loop will be terminated. And to return this exit condition true, this counter must reach to what? 5. So if you comment out any one of these two lines, this becomes an infinite. You should be very careful. The other hand, the second loop is what? While loop. The syntax is almost same as I told you. Now here is the post condition we have. Now we make this as what? Precondition. Before starting of the loop. Before starting the loop itself, we write a condition. The condition passes, then you start executing. Precondition check. If the condition is passed, then you start executing the statements. Otherwise, don't. So before starting up the loop itself, we write that condition, right? Syntax is same again. You have what? Almost similar syntax. You have what? Loop and end loop is common, but we don't have this exit here, right? So we have what? Here we have a keyword called as what? While, followed by what? Condition. Here is the condition. Rest of the code is same. You don't need exit keyword now. You don't need exit keyword. And this condition is what? In our case, what is that condition? Counter is equal to 5. The same I am going to write. But what is the difference? How many times this is going to execute? This is also going to execute for 5 times. But minimum how many times it is going to execute? You cannot guarantee that. Because if this condition is successful, then only it starts executing. But once it is starting executing, you should have a way to what? Making this condition false. Right? Means if I don't write this counter, incrementation of counter, what happens? If I don't write this counter incrementation, what happens? It becomes again a infinite loop. Because this counter never reaches to what? This counter never reaches to 5. So the same program you can write, but just condition, precondition is called as while loop, post condition is called as what? Simple loop. Technically in programming language that is a do while. Now my counter starts with 0 initialization, condition check, is the condition is true? Is this condition is true? Now say me how many times this is executes? Anyone? This is infinite times?
No. It's we didn't give
Now
exit
for this condition you say me, don't try to alter the logic. What is the output for this? 5 times, okay. Infinite.
infinity loops.
So someone says it's 5 times, someone says it is infinite, okay. See the logic and say me. How many times? He says it will not execute at least once also. He says no, it does not execute at least once also. What is your answer? It don't execute at least once also. What is your answer? Why are you thinking there is nothing? Very basic loop. If you think about this thing only, what is the programming you do? 5 times. Infinite. అర్థం కావట్లేదు. లూప్స్ నేను అడిగేది 4 years ఇంజనీరింగ్ చదివించారు మీరంతా. This is from where my program starts. Infinite loop 5 times or it does not execute. 3 different answers I am getting for just. It's false condition infinite loop. If condition is false infinite, how come when it becomes when the loop starts executing, for condition false or condition true? When the loop starts executing, for true condition or for false condition it executes. Now you are saying false, then how come it executes? You too. Execute does not execute 5 times infinite. What is this? Counter is equal to what? What is the value inside counter? 0 is equal to 5. Condition true. Condition is false. Then what happens? Will it go inside? Will it go inside? When it will go inside? When the condition returns true. Is it returning true? It's not returning true. Then will it go inside while loop? It won't start at now for less than or greater than. Now what happens now? This is 5 times. What is that? What are you thinking? Basic question I am asking. This is 5 times because when the condition is true, then it starts executing. When the condition is false, it don't. When you give 0 is equal to 5, how come it is going to start? Because the condition is failed. So you are habituated to see this, right? You don't care about what operator it is used here. These are all tricky questions. Actually, there is no trick. A straightforward answer. 0 is equal to 5, how come it is true? Because you see 0, you see 5, then imagine it is going to execute for what? 5 times. You don't see what exactly it is written. You see here 5, 0, there is a 5, then 5 times it executes. But when it executes, when the condition is true, that you are missing. If you think like that, you are gone. You cannot write a single program also. Very basic questions. Statement by statement. Now 0 is less than 5, it starts executing. Each time it is going to increment by 1. And when it reaches to what? 6. When sometimes this counter becomes what? 5. Then 5 less than 5, this becomes what? Fail. 5 less than 5, this fails. Then it comes out. If it does not fail, means what? If it does not return false, then it's never going to come out. So it starts executing when the condition is true. Then it comes out when the condition becomes what? False. The first iteration itself, if the condition is false, for the first iteration itself, if the condition is false, it does not start at all. That is the difference between this one and this one. Here, it starts compulsory. Then condition is checked. Here it is condition checked first, then it starts executing. Quite opposite. Here it executes once, but here it you cannot guarantee. It may execute, it may not. Okay, but here you can guarantee that it executes at least once. Let's try this. Are there any errors? Syntax and all. So while loop, while condition followed by what? Loop and end loop, right? I'm writing some braces here, but let me see whether it allows me or not. Parenthesis. Right. Let me copy this. Printing. It's fine because it's less than 5. If I change it to equal to, it is not going to execute for it. It's not going to execute at all. So you should terminate the loops by always end loop, end if, end case, like that. Okay. So we can teach you the subject, but we cannot teach what? Logics. That's your practice. No output. Why? Pointer is equal to 5. 0 is not 5. False. No way of execution. Think carefully before you give what? Answers. Don't blindly. These kind of questions, it's simple in the interviews, and you put the answer 5 times, executes, and ultimately it results what? Well, you come out from the interview, say what I did everything correctly, but I am not cleared because you don't observe the questions clearly. These are the tricky questions we have. Fine, anyway, simple. I hope you know what is this while loop, right? Fine, so it is a while loop. Simple syntax, same loop and condition check, precondition check, same as programming. You don't have flower braces here. You have what? Loop and end loop. The last loop is for loop. It has a different syntax comparing with what? Programming languages, right? It's slightly different syntax again. Loop and end loop is common for also. Loop and end loop is common for. As usual, you need to write the logic for what? You need to write the logic for what? Incrementation in the for loop. Now the syntax is like this. For all at one place. Initialization, incrementation, condition, all at one place. That is the for loop. Here is the syntax. Little different syntax you have for this. So can anyone say what is this for loop? Means okay, I'll write it as what? Counter. For your just I want to take the same syntax so that it's easy for you. Count will start from 1 till reaches to what? 5. You don't need to write any exit condition. You don't need to write what? Any incrementation logic. Nothing you need to write. It automatically starts from a lower bound till it reaches to what? Upper bound. No exit condition. No incrementation logic for loop. Now same thing I'm going to take declare. Now I don't need declare also here. Begin and end. Do I need to declare that counter variable? I'll tell you what is the story behind this. Some syntactical things we need to see here. I think it should be fine without declare keyword. You got that. No declaration needed. I'll tell you there are some points to understand here. Simple begin for loop. So as I told you, this loop and end loop is common. If you write only loop and end loop, it becomes what? Basic loop where you need to write a condition for what? Exit. Also you need to write what? Incrementation and decrementation logic. If I write while before this loop, it becomes a what? While loop. And if I write for, this becomes a for loop. But with a different syntax we have. There are a lot more things to understand. I did not take declaration section here. I'm just starting with what? Begin, then for loop, and end for loop. That's enough for this. For just printing this. Okay. So what are the syntax here? This is called as index variable. This is called as what? Index variable, right? So this index variable need not to be declared. You don't have to declare this index variable. You don't have to declare this index variable. So here I declared it in while loops or other loops. I declared this index variable, means the one which is helping me to what? Terminate the loops. While you're writing for loop, you don't have to declare this variable. It's the first thing, right? And always this for your index variable in, so always starts from what? Lower bound to upper bound, and this lower bound and upper bound must be separated with what? Exactly 2 dots. You cannot give more or less dots. Exactly 2 dots is the separator between what? Lower bound and upper bound. Right? So rest is same. You don't need any incrementation of counter, and you don't need any exit condition. So automatically it starts from what? 1. It reaches till 5. It ends. So means 1. So first time this counter variable will have a value called as what? 1. Next time it is going to be 2, like this. So in order to declare this index variable, and the separator between lower bound and upper bound is what? Exactly 2 dots. You cannot use anything. You cannot reverse these boundaries also. It's not 5 to 1. It's always to what? Lower term. In case if you try to modify the value of this, right? So what happens? It throws you an error, right? Let's say because counter is always from 5 to 10. I try to what? I try to assign some other value. Counter is equal to what? I start with some 1. It becomes always 1 now. So it will be 1 when I come here. When it comes here again, it becomes what? 1, right? Whether it is allowed, says what? Counter cannot be used on assignment. You cannot assign any values to this variable. It is implicitly assigned. This variable is implicitly assigned from how many numbers? 1 to 5. This is implicitly assigned. Counter is equal to 1, then counter is equal to 2, counter is equal to 3. This is implicitly assigned. If you try to perform any operations on this counter variable, means this index variable, it becomes what? It leads to an error. You cannot, it says what? You cannot do that. Right? So it can be I or something like that. I just for because we are using counter everywhere since the beginning of the blues. I have used it as what? Counter. It can be I, J, K, whatever you want to take, you can take. For I in, and if you want to print I value, can I print it? Able to print this? I change the counter to what? I am removing this counter. So you don't need to declare that index variable. That is implicitly declared, and you cannot assign the value to that index variable because it is implicitly is going to have what? These values. Okay. Just I'm trying to print it. Let's see whether I can do that or not. Print it. And see here, I is automatically starts from what? 1, and when it reaches to 5, and because it reaching to your maximum boundary, it is terminated. Here is the I. You know to write initialization. You know to write what? Incrementation. You don't need to write exit condition. Nothing you need to write. It is automatically taken care. That is the simplest syntax of what? For loop. No initialization, no incrementation, no exit condition. All you need to just write this one. But there is a way if you want to execute reversely, you can use a keyword called as what? Reverse. After this upper boundary, you write what keyword? Reverse. Now it is going to execute from 5 to 1. You can have that also. What is it? Reverse. Let me try this. Let me see whether it is syntactically correct or not. Reverse I have used. Maybe reverse I used in a wrong place, but you can use it. I guess I can use it. This is what while loop is it? Okay. This is a for loop. Here actually after in you have to use, not after the boundaries. Syntax error. Reverse you can use after what? In. When you use reverse here, it becomes what? It starts from what? 5, ends with what? 1. 5, 6 here. 5 to 1. But you are not going to change the boundary. You are not going to change the boundary. Boundaries always should be what? Lower to upper. If you write reverse, this becomes it starts from what? Upper boundary to what? Lower boundary. If you don't write reverse, it starts from what? Natural order. 1 to 5. Okay. Can I have any other can I have any other characters apart from digits here? Like floats, chars, varchars. from A to B, from A to Z? No, right? Should they have what? Digits. Fine, this is a syntax for loop. You note down the syntaxes. Here is the syntax for what? While, condition, loop, statements, and what? End loop. Loop and end loop is common everywhere. Loop and end loop is common for all three, right? And for the for, this is syntax. So counter variable or index variable, you are not going to declare. You don't need to declare. That's the first point. No need to specify the condition. No need to specify the condition. No need of initialization. No need of what? Incrementation. It is automatically taken care. And the range operator, we call it as what? Range operator is exactly what? 2 dots. You cannot give any other. And the boundary should be always lower bound to what? Upper bound. Right? So if you change the counter variable within the loop and the scope of this counter variable, one more important point. What is the scope of this counter variable? I am printing inside the loop, right? Here I am printing counter variable. But can I, after this end loop, can I use that I? Can I use that I after this loop is end, terminated? I have a I here. After end loop, can I print it again? The scope of this I will be inside the for loop. The scope of the I will be inside the for loop. Okay. So that is what we have. There is a one more point. Rest are all same. No, none of the boundary should be what? None. You must have what? Clear boundaries. And that to lower boundary to what? Upper boundary. If you try to reverse it may lead to an error. So this is the for loop, right? So exit keyword we have seen. Nested loops. You can try that. Nested loops. I am giving you some assignments. Nesting loop means what? Writing a loop inside a loop. Writing a loop inside loop. That is called as nested loop, right? But we have some. This is not a recommended way of programming. You have what? This called as labels. Jump from here to here like this. You can put some labels, but that is not recommended. These are nested loops you have. I am giving you some examples on nested loops. I hope you know the last control statement. What is it? Continue. What is the continue? We'll do in programming. Continue in program. What is the difference between break and continue? Break will terminate the entire flow. It will start again. Continue means what? Stop that iteration and then you go with the next iterations. So when I use break 5, means there are 10 iterations. Where I write a break condition at 5th iteration, what happens? It won't execute after 5. If I write continue 5, what happens? Only that 5 is skipped. 1 to 4 are executed. 6 to 10 are executed. But that particular 5th iteration is skipped. The same use here. So what is the equivalent keyword for break here? What is the equivalent keyword for break in PLSQL? Equivalent we have seen exit. Exit is the keyword which is equal to what? Break. Continue is the keyword name is continue. Return is not there. Yeah. Return is also there. We'll see that. So that's the continue example. In the place of exit when you are writing what? Continue when. And that particular iteration is going to what? Stop. 1 to 4 as I told you. Continue when 5 means what? Here actually after greater than means what? Nothing is going to continue. It is going to stop, right? So anyway, that's same. Continue is the same meaning you have in the programming. Exit means completely terminate the loop from that condition. No execution. Continue means what? Before execute and after that condition execute. But exactly that condition you want. You skip it. Exactly that particular condition it is going to what? Skip. Before and after it is going to execute. Right? The same you have. This is what? The control statements you can try this. Continue. Same as programming. Right? So this is all about what control statements. If, case expression, case statement, basic loop, while loop, for loop, and exit, continue. There is one more called as what? Labels. I'm not discussing labels. Most of the time labels are not used. This leads to what? Complicated programming. Labels are almost out of scope in any programming language. No programming language uses what? Labels. It was there in C kind of programming languages, but it is not that useful programming block. You have one more. So means what? You put a label here. This is called as what? Label, and this is called as one more label. You can jump between these labels, right? So that is what we have. So exit the inner label when yes, exit the outer label when yes, like this. You can write, but it's not recommended programming strategy at all. Labels. Fine. So this is all you have. So just I would like to give you some assignments on loops, and then we can. All right. So the what assignments you can do on loop? Time being, you cannot do anything. You can do, but not using SQL statements. Some regular programmings you can write. What are those? You try all of these things. Factorial of a given number. Mathematical table means what? 2, 2 into 1, 2 into 2. You are going to take this as input. Which table you want to print? Simple assignments I am giving. Printing this way. Okay. 1, 1, 2. Which loop you take? I don't know. 1, 2, 3. Till the number. If we give number as 5, it should print till what? 5. Like this. For printing the same with stars, you replace this 1, 2, 3 with 1, 2, 3 with what? Stars. Reversely also you print 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 1. Reverse printing of that pyramid. Okay. Factorial. Right. You can write prime number, whether it is a prime number or not. These are all very basic things I am asking. No one is asking these things in nowadays. Factorials, prime numbers, they are outdated. That is 10 years backstory. No one is asking them nowadays in the interviews. Write a factorial program in that. And any other
Fibonacci series.
Fibonacci. Okay, thanks Jyoti. If I remember spelling, I don't know. Fibonacci, right? CCI.
Yeah.
Fibonacci series. Try all of them. I am giving you 6 programs, but it's not the end. As always, I am saying, you think and you start write the solutions. You prepare your own question, you start writing the solutions. That is the best way to learn the things. But time being, I am giving. But all the assignments are completed on the time. I don't see you are completing it. Fine. Anyway, I would like to stop the session now. Right, tomorrow we'll meet. If you have any questions, you can. No? Online?
Kranti.
Okay. Bye. Tomorrow we'll see.
Yeah, bye.